Oh, hello there. My name is Mathew Finley.
And I'm Alyssa Ryan.
And this is my friend, Laura Martin.
And this is my friend, Courtney Cunningham.
And I'm Roger Gamblin, magician and all-around nice guy.
And I'm Paul Harker, and we'll be your host for today's show of USA Kids Today. Welcome to USA Kids Today, our very own show, produced for kids, by kids, and about kids.
We have a neat show planned for you today, and here to help us is Jim Bucher.
Bucher!
From Channel 2 News.
Well, you know, that was close. And you are Marvin, right? No, you're Matthew. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. How you guys doing today? Glad you invited me on the show. Thanks a lot.
We're just peachy.
You're just peachy?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to be here. So,
Jim, exactly what is it you do?
Well, I do just about everything at Channel 2. I'm a photographer, and a lot of the things you see on Channel 2 News, I am I'm in front of the camera, but there's no one behind the camera because I set the camera up on a tripod and stand in front of it a lot of times. And I do reports. I do Two on the Town, which is an entertainment segment, which tells you some new movies that are out or a new play to see or something like that. And Booker's Beat is just kind of a crazy thing. I like to get out and just let loose, kind of like you guys do here. So, and I understand you guys get out a lot too and do cover a lot of festivals and that type of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. We have a story by one of our USA Kids Today reporters.
Yes, a Smartifacts report by Bridgett Reiberling on the fighting art of jiu-jitsu. She and other kids are learning how the discipline of the mind and body go together. That report will be coming up a little later on our show.
Mr. Bucher, are you doing anything special for Earth Day?
We're probably just going to celebrate at home quietly with cake and ice cream and birthday presents, probably. Yeah.
You have birthday presents and cake for Earth Day?
Oh, Earth Day. I'm sorry. I thought you said birthday. I'm sorry. I messed that up. Should we re-roll the tape and start that again? No, I'm kidding. I thought you said Earth Day. Sorry about that.
You did know that April 22nd is Earth Day.
Yeah, I did. You know, and every year we gather all the trash around our house and we put it in the car and drive around and throw it out the windows. So now I'm kidding. We don't do that. You know, we recycle. I live in the city of Dayton and we do a lot of recycling. So we're very conscious of the fact that we need to do more to get this stuff out of our landfills and keep reusing it, because when you guys have kids, there might not be any room left to throw the trash. So it's good to get out there and recycle.
Well, in honor of Earth Day, we decided to bring in some guests who would tell us how to make sure to help our planet, good old Mother Earth.
We invited our friends from Aullwood Audubon Center and Farm and a special surprise guest. Mr. Bucher, do you know who our surprise guest is?
I'm not sure, but I have a hunch who it is.
You do? How do you know?
Did a little bird tell you?
Well, not a little bird. Actually, it was a big bird.
Well, let's meet our first guest, Liz Kaiser from the Montgomery County Solid Waste District.
Hey.
Ms. Kaiser, what exactly could the Montgomery County Solid Waste District have of interest to kids?
Actually, we have a great big bird, Curby the Cardinal. Curby's a very exciting part of our show.
Oh, it's Curby the Cardinal.
Hey, Curby.
Hello.
Hello.
Big bird.
Curby reminds all of us in school and at work and at home to reduce, reuse, and recycle. He has a lot of fun activities this time of year for Earth Day. One of the favorite ones he has coming up is our Earth Day to Earth Day poster contest. Students across the U.S. or across Ohio, just like yourselves, did posters for Curby's contest, and in fact we have a local winner here for the recycle poster. Another contest that we have coming up that I'm sure all of your schools have been participating in is our Recycle Rally 96. And Recycle Rally, Curby's especially proud of because he's getting everybody to collect their magazines, catalogs, phone books, and clean clothes. And everyone can come to the rally on May the 5th. And a fun thing about this is they're going to be competing for prizes. So I'm sure all of you are at home collecting these materials to compete. Another activity that's part of Recycle Rally 96 is our Recycled Sculpture Contest. And we're very excited today to have some winners here. About 25 local schools in Montgomery County participated in the Recycled Sculpture Contest. Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about your sculpture? I believe it's right here on the end, the silver.
Right there is the spacing. Can you look in there? They got these domes, and they got little people walking around on the outside. They got buggies. They got some ships, and they got some planets hanging from the ceiling.
That sounds very exciting. What type of recyclable materials did you use in your sculpture?
Well, I used plaster, and I used copper.
I see some familiar items that maybe you found when you're getting ready for a meal at home. I see some tin cans.
Oh, those are for telescopes, so you can look into see the spacing.
Okay. Let's see about Allison. Now you have a sculpture, Allison. I believe yours is here on the end. And can you tell us what your sculpture is and what type of recyclables are in it?
Mine's a horse.
Looks like you used some paper for the mane. And are those, gosh, the legs must be pop cans?
Yeah.
That's really neat. And Heather and Stephanie, your sculpture's in the center. What type of recyclables did you use?
Cardboard, some newspaper, and plastic.
Are these items that you're able to recycle at home in your programs?
Yes.
Okay. And we have some other students here that have done sculptures. I don't believe your sculpture's here, but can you tell us what the sculpture is?
It was a Formula One car.
That sounds neat. Now, will you be bringing this to the rally?
Yes.
All of our winners for the sculpture contest will be at the rally on May 4th, and they'll be competing for a countywide contest. I'd like to thank all of you for participating in the Recycled Sculpture Contest. It makes a good thing if everyone can remember to reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Great. Liz, let's hear it for Liz. That's great. Thank you very much. Hey, I have a question for you. Does Curby eat birdseed? What does he eat? And how much does that cost? You look like you can eat a lot of birdseed. What do you think? You think so?
So what keeps Curby happy is if everybody recycles.
Okay. Thanks, Curb. You get to put him back in a cage or anything, or not? No, he's not going to fly away or anything, all right? All right, Matthew, what's up?
Quite a nice bird dinner.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's so many things we need to change about our lifestyle if we want to save our Earth for future generations to enjoy.
You're so right. And this next message sure gets that point across. So stay tuned and we'll have that report from Bridgett Reiberling, and we'll introduce you to our friends from Aullwood.
You know, excuse me. You know, a little bird told me what's happening up at Aullwood Audubon Center.
A little bird?
Well, it was more a medium-sized bird.
A medium-sized bird?
Well, actually, it was a pretty big bird. Well, really, it was a huge bird. Well, not as big as Curby. But it was a really big bird.
A really big bird, huh? Sometimes I wonder about you, Holly.
We'll be right back.
This is a molecule of water in the soil. Water and other molecules are absorbed by this tree root. Inside the tree, the water moves up the trunk, through a branch, and into a leaf. Here, in a leaf cell, the tree uses sunlight to transform water into new molecules called oxygen. Trees and other plants release millions of these oxygen molecules into the air every day. It's the very same oxygen that you and I breathe. Say thank you. Protect the forest. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
You're watching DATV. DATV gives you the freedom to communicate.
Come on out to Aullwood's Wildlife Festival and meet me, Vedor the Andean Condor. There are less than 1,000 of my kind left in the wild. Watch me fly and learn about condors and other endangered animals May 4th and 5th at Aullwood Farm, 2 miles west of the Dayton Airport. Great food, fun, entertainment, and arts and crafts. Remember, May 4th and 5th. Fun for the whole family. Call my friends at Aullwood, 890-7360. It'll be wild.
You're watching USA Kids Today.
Hi, I'm Bridgett Reiberling, reporting for USA Kids Today, and I'm at the School of Fighting Arts. Sensei, can you please tell us what Mike and Jesse are doing?
Yeah, Jesse and Mike are getting ready to do a practice form that's called the Tai Sabaki Ichi. And what it is, it's a form to teach them how to do, to flow from one throwing technique into another throwing technique. So you see what they're doing is they're going from one technique, and then if that first technique does not work, then they flow into a second technique. That way they know to follow up. If they make a mistake when they're trying to defend themselves or trying to do a throw in class, they make a mistake, they try to use the other person's energy to get another technique and go ahead and follow up and take them to the ground.
Wow, sounds neat.
Now what we'll go ahead and show you is some ground fighting. How's that sound?
Sounds cool.
Okay, this is what they do if you're taken to the ground. It looks something like wrestling, okay? Now I have 2 volunteers.
Sensei.
Yes.
Why are their belts different colors?
Well, each belt denotes a different skill level. So you start at a white belt, and a white belt is basically a beginner. And then you move, once you learn a few techniques, you're tested over those techniques, and if you pass the test, you get a yellow belt. Okay, and that means that you're not a beginner anymore, you do know some martial arts, okay? And as you progress up the system, you learn more and more techniques. So by the time you reach a black belt level, you know a lot of techniques. In fact, in our system, you'll know over 200 techniques. Okay, whereas when you test for yellow belt, you only learn maybe 20 techniques. So it kind of progresses.
Wow, that's cool. How long does all this take?
Well, it varies depending on each individual. Everybody has a different level of commitment to their training, but the average person, it takes about 4.5 years to get their black belt, okay? And then after you reach black belt level, that doesn't mean that you stop training. That just means that you've got a little bit more training to do. You've reached a peak, and then you work from that peak to a new peak. Okay, but everybody kind of sees the black belt as the highest level when it is really not. There's different degrees of black belt.
Sensei, can you please tell us what they're doing now?
Okay, well, they're practicing ground fighting, and ground fighting is one of the ranges of confrontation that we work on. They try to get one another in a position where the other one can't hurt them. It's similar to wrestling, but at the same time, we don't worry about trying to pin the shoulders to the ground. We worry more about checking the hand so that they can't punch you or strike you to the face or chest or poke you in the eye or pull your nose or something like that. So they work into positions of advantage. When they get more advanced, they'll work into what are called submissions, where you force the person to submit. In class, we tap the mat when we submit. And if they ever get in a position out there where it hurts, they'll tap the mat and tell their partner to stop. But ground fighting works a lot of sensitivity, and it's also a very enduring exercise, so they work their cardiovascular. You'll notice they're breathing hard just a little bit out there. So they get a pretty good workout from it.
Sensei, can you tell us what the word hajime means?
Hajime is a Japanese word that means to start. Okay, so when they're doing their activities, I'll say hajime, and that means that they need to start doing whatever they're supposed to be doing, whether it's an exercise or a technique or they're sparring or ground fighting. Okay, now if I want them to stop, I say mate. Okay, mate is another Japanese word that means to stop or hold. Okay, so they'll stop what they're doing, and we'll either, if it's in a classroom atmosphere, we'll stop and go to the next technique, or if they're doing more of a sparring routine, they'll stop and they'll rotate partners, get somebody new to work with, okay, and then we'll start again. Okay, you want to see something different now?
Sure, I think the folks at home would like that.
Okay. Mate. Good job. Bow to one another. Bow to one another. Have a seat. Say the mic.
What are they doing over there, Sensei?
Okay, right now they're practicing a stick routine that's called Cinco Terres. Okay, Cinco Terres is a long-range stick routine where they practice a pattern. It develops hand coordination. Okay, it also helps them memorize certain patterns of techniques. Okay, at the same time, it's teaching them long-range striking patterns with a short stick, a stick that's 2 feet or smaller. Okay. Go ahead, Ryan. We're going to do some sparring, okay? And there's different levels of sparring, okay? What they're going to do is just kicking and punching, okay? No throwing. When you get more advanced, you add throwing techniques like we were doing earlier, and you can also add ground fighting techniques. You kind of blend the three things together. But right now, they're just going to show you some of their kicking and punching skills. Right. Now, the targets that they practice hitting are to the sides of the head, where you see the headgear, okay? They also practice hitting to the chest and the sides, the abdomen, as well as to the soft tissue in the legs to try to frog someone's legs. Now, the things that we try to emphasize in class are keeping the hands up, trying to block just as much as you punch, because a lot of times beginners like to get out there and really mix it up, so they punch more than they block. But see, this is self-defense, so it's very important, especially if you're working with somebody who is much bigger than you. It's very important to block more than you punch. Okay, your defense has to be just as strong as your offense. Okay, so this is an exercise where they can practice both offense and defense, punches and kicks, as well as blocks. You'll notice that they're not going 100%. They're not trying to hurt one another. They're just trying to practice.
How does martial arts affect training the mind?
Well, with everything physical, there's a mental side to it, okay? With martial arts training, there's a definite mental discipline that has to be learned. One, because the types of techniques that you're learning can hurt other people, okay? Now, we learn them for self-defense, okay? But understandably, people can get hurt when you're doing punches and kicks and throwing techniques and things like that. So there has to be a certain level of self-control that the person has to develop. And we try to develop that in the students slowly. We expose them to the techniques slowly. They learn the kicks and the punches and the blocks, and then they might work with a partner, and then they learn how to fall properly, and then they learn how to throw properly, and then they'll learn randori, like we saw earlier, where they were going back and forth and throwing one another. So they have to learn that self-control, because it's not only is it not nice to hurt your partner, okay, but we have a saying in class, if you hurt your uki, who's your partner, you won't have anybody to work with anymore, okay? So if you want your training to continue, you've got to have a partner to do it on, right? And you wouldn't want them to hurt you, and you won't, in the same fashion, you don't want to hurt them. So there's that discipline to it. There's also just the discipline of having to memorize all of those techniques, okay? You have to do a lot of studying. You have to do things that aren't easy. These guys go through a normal routine of a warm-up and you know, stretching to try to train their body. And while that is primarily physical, there's also a mental side to that. They have to want to do it, because some of it's hard. I mean, if you ask an 8-year-old to do 25 push-ups, that's not an easy thing to do for an 8-year-old, right? Okay. But if he really wants to train hard, then he'll try to do it. Okay, and then he learns that if he applies himself, okay, to this, because maybe he wants that black belt, or maybe he wants to be a ninja, or whatever he has in his head. Okay, if he learns that, he learns how to apply himself, then he learns that it's not so hard to apply those skills in other areas, whether it's schoolwork, or he wants to play soccer, he wants to be a good football player. All of those things have a mental side to them as well as a physical side to them. Okay, so while there is the term jock, you know, there's a guy out there who likes to be very into sports, and people say, well, he's not very smart. That's not true. There's a lot of physical activities that require just as much mental training as they do physical training. Well, martial arts has always been something that people say, oh, there's a lot of mental training to it, but other sports have the same thing. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think that does.
Okay.
Thank you, Sensei Brian, for sharing the fighting art of Jiu-Jitsu with us.
You're welcome, Bridget. It was my pleasure. I hope we can do it sometime again soon.
This is Bridgett Reiberling reporting for USA Kids Today. Mate!
Hi, we're back, and we just watched a Smartifacts report from Bridgett Reiberling. She did a great job. Well, our friends from Aullwood are here.
There's Blondine and Jennifer Loci, our naturalists from the Aullwood Audubon Center. And with them are some junior friends from Aullwood, Leslie Williams, Mathew Slattery, and Valeska Craigley. Mathew, Leslie, and Valeska are ants.
Ants? What do you mean, ants?
Ants, A-N-T, stands for Aullwood Nature Teens.
Oh, I get it. Ants, Aullwood Nature Teens. Valeska, can you tell us about ants and how you get involved?
Well, actually, I got involved in Aullwood before ants even existed. For my school was having Kindness Week, and I had to do a project, so I decided to work at Aullwood for a week. One of the first things I did was collect water samples from Muskrat Marsh, a wetland at Aullwood. Then I worked at Wildlife Fest. There, I worked in children's activities where you could make hats, paint your face, and finger paint. Myself, I made the hats for the children. Then during the summer, I worked at Summer Adventures, which Matt will tell you about later. we got so close during the summer that we were very upset when we had to leave for school. So ants began. Leslie, could you tell us about ants?
Ants is a group of kids, and they range between grade 6 and 9th. We have a meeting once a month at either Aullwood Center or Aullwood Farm. We talk about different things, like the meetings, like nature and the environment, or different trips we're going to plan. We have activities such as the Enchanted Forest, where it was like the Halloween, where some of the adults dressed up and told us about the different animals that there were. And then there was the Apple Fest, where we made hats for the little kids. And so, Matt, will you tell us about the field trips?
I started with ants when it all began. I had volunteered at Aullwood before it started, and I did that with the Wildlife Festival. I worked in the children's activities, and we did face painting and like everything that Valeska and Leslie said. And we go on trips 3 or 4 times a year, and we usually go camping. And when we go camping, my favorite camping trip was the last one we did, which was in March, and we went to Camp Shawano, and we identified trees and had snowball fights, and another thing we did this past year was we decorated the farm for the holidays and with natural things and stuff.
Well, that's great. It occurs to me that we've now told everybody about ants, but we haven't really told you about Aullwood. So maybe, Jen, you could fill us in a little bit about what Aullwood is.
I'd love to, Ruth. Aullwood Audubon Center and Farm is a 350-acre nature preserve and organic farm, and it's a wonderful place for people of all ages to experience the natural world while wandering through the trails, through the forest, the meadow, a tall grass prairie, by the pond. There's all kinds of different habitats you can explore. We have a nature center, and inside you'll find a lot of live animals. You can get close to some snakes and turtles and some fish, and relax while sitting in our bird room looking through the window on wildlife and watching birds coming to bird feeders. And at our organic farm, you can see a whole variety of different farm animals there, including a couple of Belgian draft horses that are over 2,000 pounds each, as well as this time of year is really special because we have a lot of little lambs running around in the pastures and some baby goats. And so there's always something exciting going on at the farm as well as the center. And another thing that's important about the farm is that it's organic. And that means that we use only natural methods for getting rid of weeds and insects that we want to control. And that's really important because we don't always know what a lot of chemicals can do to ourselves as well as the world around us. So the fewer chemicals we can use at our farm and elsewhere, the better off we'll all be. And Aullwood Audubon Center and Farm has been around for about 40 years. And it's there today because of a really special lady by the name of Marie Aull. And next year she'll be celebrating her 100th birthday when Aullwood celebrates its 40th anniversary. And she wanted to make sure that kids had a really special place where they could explore the forests and different natural habitats for years to come. So Aullwood should be around for a long time still to come.
Good. You want to talk about the special Earth Day activities?
Yeah, I'd love to. We have a lot of special events throughout the year. One of those is coming up real soon in celebration of Earth Day. Next Saturday, April 20th, all day, will be a free admission day at Aullwood, and people of all ages can come out and enjoy the activities like a couple of nature hikes that are led by one of our naturalists. We'll be showing videos all day long on different endangered species so you can get to know a little bit more about them. We'll have all kinds of craft tables available where kids can put things together made from recyclable materials, such as the things that you saw earlier in the program. So there are all kinds of things going on next Saturday that you might enjoy with your family out at Aullwood.
Thanks, Jen. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Earth Day concert that we're going to have also on the 20th in the evening. It'll be April 20th in the evening. It's all the performers, artists of the Dayton area are getting together. It's our second year to do this. It's called the Earth Rhythms Concert. and it's at 7:30 at Shiloh Church. We'll have the Dayton Ballet there. We'll have the opera, artists in residence there, but also we'll have in the second half Paul Lippert, and he is a well-known environmental singer and songwriter, and he's going to be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun because he has a lot of sing-along things. So if you've never been to the opera or to the ballet, or if you have been and you think you want to try this and see these performers, they will all be there, and you'll get a nice sampling of all the wonderful artists that we have in the Dayton area. We'll even have refreshments during the intermission. There's going to be a couple of art exhibits there. And at these art exhibits, some of them are by the students of Helke and Valerie and Los Elementary School, and some are by professional artists. Once again, at 7:30 on 20th, it's at Shiloh Church, and that's at North Main in Philadelphia. If you have any questions, you can always call Aullwood at 890-7360, and we can answer any questions you have about the concert.
Great. You know, when we do Two on the Town a lot, we come out to Aullwood and do some neat things. And I'm kind of biased, I think, because I grew up and came out to Aullwood as a kid. I've got a picture in kindergarten out there with my first girlfriend, who, well, she just blew it and broke it off with me. But at any rate, and there we are at the farm, and all the animals around, and I have some really neat memories of that. And what else is neat about it, it's so close to the city. It's kind of nice. You can go out, and you're not that far away from the city, is my point, to get to the into the country, and you can kind of see all the neat things and walk the trails, and it's so relaxing out there. And the other thing I think we should point out too is Earth Day. We should celebrate Earth Day and practice Earth Day year-round. We shouldn't just do it the one day. We should recycle, and we should be careful with, you know, in the summertime as far as mowing the lawn and that type of thing, and listen to what some of the pollution control people say, that, you know, don't do it during the day, and watch our activities and this type of thing. So we should be practicing that all the time. So I just got on my soapbox there.
Ms. Lundeen, what did you bring to the show for us today?
Well, you're right. Like Jen said, we have lots of animals at Aullwood, and they help us out with our different programs with the school groups that come through. But first, I wanted to tell you a little bit about another event that we have coming up, and that's our Wildlife Festival. Wildlife Festival is May 4th and 5th, the first weekend in May, and it's all day, those 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, at our farm. This is a wonderful opportunity to learn all about wildlife, both in Ohio and from around the world. On Saturday, the great cats from Cincinnati Zoo will be visiting. There'll be a cheetah and a tiger and other animals of the cat family. And on Sunday, we'll have the amazing wild animals, and there's things like a cougar and a honeybee bear, and different things that you would like to see. And there'll be acts every hour on the hour, and lots of exhibits, lots of booths with arts and crafts, and also lots of wonderful food, always good food. So we like to eat, right? So we'd love to see you all there. And that's at our Aullwood farm, and it's just 2 miles west of Dayton Airport. And once again, if you want more information about that, you can call us at 890-7360. But our big special event this year with the Wildlife Festival is our special guest, and I'm not going to tell you about him. I'm going to show him to you because he came by and visited in January, and we have a video of him. So we'd like to introduce you to Vedor, an Andean condor.
Hey, this is Vedor, the world's only tame free-flying condor. He's an 8-year-old Andean condor that was born in the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service captive breeding project just outside Washington, D.C. And his grandparents were the kind of the prototypes for learning how to breed condors in captivity. This Andean condor is endangered, but there were always more of them than our so-called California condors, so they thought they would experiment with the Andean condors. The irony of it now, though, is we went from a low of 27 California condors 8 years ago, and now there are over 100 through captive breeding. But the Andean condors' numbers are dropping. It's hard to get a good estimate of their numbers. You want to hop up, Dee? Come on, hop up. Good. And there's probably only about 1,000 Andean condors, and still on the decline in most parts of the range. They're the national bird of 6 different countries in South America, And just from what little you can see here now of him, you see they're not really the ugly, stupid, dirty birds that often cartoon and other media portrayal of them shows. He's doing a courtship display to me right now. He doesn't have a voice box like most birds do, so he's making that noise just mechanically with his breathing. And you also notice he's turned more yellow while he's courting me too. His face will go back to more pink and purple. It's not as heavy as he looks, but he is 2.5 times as heavy as an eagle. He weighs about 28 pounds. So it makes him about 10 times as heavy as your average red-tailed hawk. And I don't even have to wear gloves with him. I'm doing that partly because it's cold this morning. And he can handle the winters just fine. He's got a very thick down coat. Condors are, I saw a condor in Peru at 20,000 feet once, and they've been seen as high as 24,000 feet. The main difference between the Andean condor and the California condor is the Andean condors have more white on them, and California condor doesn't have this same kind of rough. Little difference. Vedor, no, no. He wants to jump up on your car. And no one's ever trained a condor before for free flying. And so one of our secrets to success with him is getting him comfortable enough with us that he lets us carry him like this. And they don't have the strong feet like a predatory bird are because they're nature's greatest recycler. They're a scavenger. Yes. Yeah, he's as big as he'll ever get, and he's fairly big for a condor. I've heard of Andean condors. Females are smaller in condors, and I've heard of them ranging from about 20 pounds up to 32 pounds. Oh, one thing I was going to mention is even though he doesn't have strong feet, his wrist, this is his wrist, not his elbow. It's very bony. And when I shot the film footage of the capture of the last wild California condor in 1987, just before that happened, I saw that condor knock a raven over. The raven's been pulling the tail of the last bird while they were at a carcass. And this one raven walked up beside him and he just knocked it, rolling head over tail. And he's broken my glasses several times with the opening force of the wings. One of the amazing things about condors is that they live as long as humans. And when you consider their lifestyle of eating carrion, mostly with, it probably has a lot of bacteria and viruses and things like that around it, they, Peter, come over here. Come over here. They must have pretty incredible immune systems, and it's one of the many reasons for preserving endangered species, because no research has ever been done on why they have such great immune systems, yet they might hold some keys for human medical science that would, since we're having so much problem with immune resistance developing in different things. And only the males have this caruncle on top of the head. The females have a smooth head, but the females have beautiful ruby red eyes. Vedor, come. Good bird. He doesn't come on command usually, but with no wind, it's really hard for him to get off the ground. Vedor, come. Good bird. Yeah, he's been so cooped up the last 2 days. Good bird.
Wow, that was neat. Did you guys like that? Wasn't that cool? Yeah. Huh? Now we get to see that in person. You can see that in person coming up here, right?
Right. May 4th and 5th at the Wildlife Festival at Aullwood Farms.
It looked very tame, too, is it?
Yeah, he is. Vedor, in fact, is a second generation captive bred Andean condor, and his owner that we saw there in the picture is actually the first intern that Aullwood ever had. Oh, so that's our
connection. That
so he's bringing back his bird, and that bird can live 80 years. Wow. So actually, he has listed the bird in his will of who will get the bird when he dies.
Because the bird will outlive him.
Outlive him.
That's kind of sad. You know, and it looks like you guys have been over to the Museum of Natural History, haven't you? You guys remember the turkey vulture over there? Huh? It's in a cage by itself, and it's a mean little guy. But it's kind of related, right? You're telling me? Well, I mean, one's not a cousin and the other's an uncle, but they're related. The family is related, right? Yeah, and I've got a story to tell you about that, too. I don't think I should get into it. But anyway, when I was a kid, when I was your guys' age, I cleaned the cages over there at the Museum of Natural History, and that thing caught me, pecked my head, and haven't been right since. So that explains that. And every time I go over there now, I mean, that bird will live to be a long time, at a ripe old age, I should say. And every time I go over there, it still looks at me like this. Like it wants to peck my head again. So, but anyway, that sounds neat. The festival sounds neat. And you guys should get out to Aullwood more, because it's a great place and it's for everybody to see. Hey, now you guys got some things over there for us?
Yeah. Out of this balloon, I was going to, in honor of all these birds, I was going to make a nice balloon.
Oh, okay.
Here. Now, this is one of my secret balloons, so I'm going to have to turn away from where...
Oh, it's secret stuff. Is that what you're doing? You're hiding it from us.
It's a blue jay.
Oh.
Well, first of all, I want you to meet somebody. This is an endangered species. This is Snowball. He's a harpseel. He's an endangered species. And why he's endangered is because hunters keep killing him for his fur.
And this one's dead because he's been stuffed, obviously.
And I do have some jokes. Okay. Why did the cat cross the road?
Why?
Because it was chasing the bird.
Oh.
Okay, I'll try again.
That's good. That wasn't.
Why did the bird cross the road?
Because the cat was chasing him?
Yeah. Okay, I'll try again. Why did the ants march across the road?
Why?
To die.
No, to get to Aullwood Nature Center. Oh, you guys do march, don't you?
That's right. Well, Jim, we had brought one of our animals here today, as we promised, so we thought now we might bring her out.
What a beautiful bird.
Jen tell you a little bit.
Yeah, Jen, we'll keep you right in the middle there. You know, hang right there. What a beautiful bird.
Yes.
Wait a minute, is that on the quarter? Let me get a quarter out here. Is that on the, what is that? What is that? Oh, that's the eagle there. Okay. Well,
a relative of this bird. This one's called a red-tailed hawk, and you can see how it gets its name with that beautiful brick-colored tail. This is a fairly common hawk that can be found in Ohio. And if you keep your eyes open as you're driving down the road, you might see these birds sitting up on top of a telephone pole or maybe in a tree. They're really pretty common, one of the largest hawks in this area as well. They belong to a whole group of birds called birds of prey or raptors. And raptors are animals that eat, or birds that eat other animals, basically. And this bird eats a whole variety of things. She eats a lot of rodents. That's probably her favorite thing to eat. Lots of mice, maybe some rabbits or squirrels. Sometimes reptiles and amphibians, or some insects as well. So she eats a lot of different things. And occasionally, too, she might eat another smaller bird. So she's got a pretty varied diet. And she's got a lot of special tools, too, to help her in catching her food. For one thing, take a look at her eyes. She's got excellent eyesight. And they're positioned just right in her head to make her aim very efficiently. They're placed forward on her head, just like our eyes are placed. So that helps her judge depth. So when she's way up sitting in the top of the tallest tree, she can see the tiniest mouse running around on the ground. And her eyesight is probably about 8 times better than ours, though. So she can see a lot better. And watch what she can do as I move her. Watch what happens with her head. Can you see how she can hold her head really still as her body moves around? That's another special feature of birds of prey as well. So when they're sitting up in a tree branch that might be blowing in the wind, they can keep their head still and still aim very well, so they don't miss that mouse when they swoop down to catch it. And that leads me to the next really special part of her body, those feet. Take a look at those claws on her feet. Those have a special name. They're called talons. You can see how sharp they are. And they're not even as sharp as they would be if she were a bird in the wild. This is a captive bird. We keep her at Aullwood because she has a permanent injury. And we have a special permit to keep her there and use her for teaching, to show boys and girls a lot of the special features that these birds of prey have and just how beautiful they are. So those claws are very important for this bird's survival because they're what she uses to grab her prey before she gets ready to eat it. And then take a look at that beak on her face too. She's got a super sharp beak that helps her tear her food apart as she's eating it. So she's got some really special body parts that make her an efficient hunter. Let's see if we can get her to open her wings again.
Wow.
There she goes. She's got a pretty big wingspan. Not as big as Vedor. Vedor's wingspan's about 9.5 feet. That's a really big bird. Her wings are maybe 3.5 feet wide. So she's a good-sized bird for this part of the world, this red-tailed hawk.
I have a question. What is her permanent injury?
That's a real good question. We're not completely sure of how she was injured, how she came to be injured, but we believe she has some type of wing injury and isn't able to fly quite well enough to catch enough food if she were in the wild. They did try to rehabilitate her at one point. We've had her for about 15 years, and she was unable to catch food very well. So it was determined that she wouldn't be able to survive in the wild on her own. And that's the only reason we have her at Aullwood. And we don't give her a name. A lot of people ask us if she has a person's name. We just call her a red-tailed hawk because she is a wild animal. She's not a pet. So we want everybody to realize that. And if we could, we'd like her to be back in the wild, but it just won't work with this bird.
Now, will she get along with Curby? They get along?
I think so, yeah. They seem to be doing real well so far. She's been eyeing them, though.
And what do you call the claws again?
The claws are called talons.
Wow, so they named the claws after a car. That's interesting.
That's right, something like that, Jim.
Or something like that. I don't know how that works. Something like
That's
that.
right.
It's very beautiful
she's
bird,
a beautiful
though.
bird.
How'd you like that swooping over your head coming at you? Just beautiful.
Well, does anybody have any questions about her before I put her back?
Yeah, so I guess if she like looks straight at you and then you move suddenly, you're really still and then you move suddenly, she'll notice it.
Yeah, she definitely will notice. And she has better vision than a lot of other animals. She can see color. And animals like snakes notice movement a lot more than they notice a lot of details about the world around them. So that works real well with a snake. If you sit very still, it may not notice you. But she picked up on all you guys right when I brought her out. She's very observant.
She's scoping the situation out. Isn't
Exactly.
I've noticed her head turns suddenly a lot. Is she like always in sort of a primal hunting mode or something?
Well, she is very observant. She probably has a lot of that hunting instinct still in her. I think that's probably very strong in any wild animal. Now, she doesn't hunt and hasn't hunted for quite a while. She gets fed every day by someone at Aullwood, but I'm sure that instinct is still there. But I think right now she's probably checking out her surroundings. She's been in the building hearing a lot of noises for a little while, and she's probably checking everything out, noticing the bright lights.
I was just wondering why she was like...
Yeah. I don't know if she's looking for something to eat or just checking out the place.
She keeps looking over this way.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So any sudden moves, right, they pick those up.
Yeah, she'd pick up on those, certainly.
I don't mean to take over the show here, but I have a lot of questions. Now, how old will this bird get? How old do they live?
That's a real good question. I don't know if I have a good answer for you. In captivity, she'll probably live a lot longer than she would in the wild, and we know she's at least 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to guess she could live to be 30, but it might be even older than that. I'm not certain. Some birds, like hummingbirds, the tiniest bird that comes to Ohio, have been known to live 9 years. So birds can live to be, various ages. and she'll probably live to be well, at least 20 or 30, we hope. We'd like to have her around for a good long time. She's a wonderful animal.
Does she squawk and make noise?
She doesn't make a whole lot of noise. She does make occasionally sounds from her cage. We'll hear her. Yeah, but we just wanted to bring her out and share her with you today, and you can come out to Aullwood and see her as well. She'll probably be out and about for different programs throughout the year. So I'll put her back now.
Oh, that's great.
I have one more question.
Oh.
I noticed she's like colored different colors. Is that for camouflage or what?
Yeah, that's a real good question. Probably those colors do help camouflage her as she's sitting in the woods, looking down below on the field. She is very well hidden. That's why you have to look so well, carefully as you're driving down the road for these birds. And you'll be sure to see some of them checking you out too.
Okay.
Well, what did you bring? Just tell us what it was, since we're not going to see it. What was it? Turtle.
It's a box turtle that is found all around the Ohio area. It's a native of the area, and unfortunately we see them less and less frequently because there's less habitat out there. That's one of the benefits of being able to come to Aullwood and see the different animals.
We spent too much time with the hawk, so the turtle got the boot. So we'll have the turtle on our next show. How's that? We do that? All righty.
Jim, you're not on our next show. So
oh, sorry about that. Well, you can have the turtle on the next show. How's that sound?
Maybe. Well, we're about out of time. Well, how do I know that? A little bird's telling me.
What kind of bird is it this time, Holly?
The cuckoo on the wall, Roger. What cuckoo on the wall? What cuckoo? The cuckoo on the wall? What cuckoo on the wall? I've seen a lot of birds the other day, but not the cuckoo on the wall. But if it's time to go, let's thank all of our guests.
Right again, Matthew.
We'd like to thank Liz Kaiser and Curby the Cardinal for joining us today and for reminding everyone how important it is to recycle.
And our friends at Aullwood, Ruth, Jennifer, and the aunts, Aullwood's nature team members, Leslie, Matthew, and Valeska.
And let's give a big hand to Mr. Bucher. He really deserves it.
Wow. And the turtle that didn't get to come on.
Jim, I can call you Jim, can't I?
Actually, my friends call me Jim. You can call me Mr. Bucher. No, I'm kidding you. I'm kidding you. I'm just being silly.
So, do you work with as many women as I do?
Yeah, you know, you do have a lot of women in here. Actually, I do. There's a lot of women I work with at Channel 2. Say, that balloon twisting, though, I mean, do you meet a lot of people that way, especially a lot of women?
It seems to be working rather well. And that reminds me, on our next show, we're going to be having Vanessa Tyler. She's such a babe, and she's from Channel 7.
I'm sorry, what channel was that?
Channel 7.
I'm not quite sure what you're talking about there.
Channel 7.
Oh, okay.
Roger, does that mean you and I will be the only guys?
I guess so.
Hey, we can have Snowball on our show.
Well.
Jim, do you know our USA Kids Today motto?
Hey, who doesn't?
Let's all say it.
Kids can make a difference. Kids are really smart. Kids have really neat ideas, and kids can do a lot.
Like Twist Balloon.
You've been watching USA Kids Today. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Sayonara.
Find out how you can be on USA Kids Today. Write to USA Kids Today, 4861 Leaf Road Drive, Dayton, Ohio, 45424. Wardrobe for the host of USA Kids Today is furnished by Fashion Bug. Manners Moment is brought to you through the courtesy of Minding Our Manners, etiquette workshop for all ages.
In Cahoots Children's Theater Program at Wright State University and St. Pierre School in Huber Heights and Fashion Bug Clothing Stores are proud partners and supporters of the USA Kids Today program. USA Kids Today is a program produced for kids, about kids, by kids, with the aid of dedicated volunteers who encourage kids to get involved and do their best.
USA Kids Today is a new, view video production. See things differently.
Come on out to Aullwood's Wildlife Festival and meet me, Vedor the Andean Condor. There are less than 1,000 of my kind left in the wild. Watch me fly and learn about condors and other endangered animals May 4th and 5th at Aullwood Farm, 2 miles west of the Dayton Airport. Great food, fun, entertainment, and arts and crafts. Remember, May 4th and 5th. Fun for the whole family. Call my friends at Aullwood, 890-7360. It'll be wild.